Welcome to AnimeUI, where weebs can make weeb things. Basically, AnimeUI is a front-end component library made in React, TypeScript, and Storybook. It's also published on NPM. So taking a look at the library, the first component we have is the accordion. I tried to go with a vibrant color scheme because a lot of animes are very colorful, very bright. This is taking a look at the tabs component. As you can see, it's customizable by colors. The gradients have a smooth gradient. This is a sample code implementation. Storybook is good in that it's actually a really good documentation aid. Taking a look at the list component now, you can see the different use cases. You can add custom colors. You can have different customizations. You can see the code implementation for when you install it and put it inside your app. This is without any icons and using a custom font. And taking a look at the table component, same thing. I tried to make a consistent color scheme throughout everything, and then try to make it bright and cheery. And then here, the editable, you can have hover effects, you can have striped rows, and then all these components are all responsive, and they could be easily installed inside your application. You could edit the colors in every single one of them. The alert component is an interesting one in the sense that it doesn't follow the same color scheme because it changes depending on what type of alert it is, warning, otherwise. We have the progress bar, same thing. You could edit its height and color scheme. There is a sample implementation. Skeleton component, this one's pretty nice. I tried to draw an SVG face. Not the greatest. Taking a look at the toast component, you can see here, this is a warning. You can have custom colors depending on what you want to do. The buttons, I tried to add some animations and to have some interactions for these for the form elements. They have a bit more animation than the other ones. You can see with the checkbox, there's a little flicker. There's a little animation that plays when you click on it. That's definitely by design. That's just to give more of a pretty aesthetic, something interesting, so that when you put it inside your applications, it adds a bit more UX and makes it more favorable for users. The input component, same thing, follows the normal pink to purple color scheme. You can have placeholder text. You can also have an error state, which is interesting. Less than 5 characters. You can edit it to be whatever error state you want. Custom colors, same thing. And then there's a password component. And all you have to do is just define how it looks. You could set the color. You could edit almost everything about this, which is what makes it really cool. So I wanted to make this project so that, because in my last job, I worked on a front-end library and I got to work on these components, but I wanted to see, how do I make the whole thing all by itself? How can I basically build something like what it is that I worked on? So that was really interesting to see the behind-the-scenes process of publishing an NPM package. It's a lot easier. You have to have a name that wasn't made before, and you have to make an NPM account, but it's totally free to publish NPM packages. Here we have a slider component with custom colors. You can set a different step value. As you can see, it's moving a little bit more blocky than the other one. This one, to give a bit more of an anime feel, you can have speech bubble buttons going from the left-hand side. The alert dialog, I tried to draw another face. Not too great, but that's a work in progress. This is probably one of my favorite components, having that animation on the drawer. That looks really nice. The menu component, and then we're almost done now. We have the modal. You can customize it. And then the last but not least, we have the popover. So here, this is by click, and then by hover. You could just click it, hover, and you could, again, edit the colors in it. So looking at the project setup for something like this, Storybook is really good in that it has an option to give auto docs, which is what you saw with the default, where it gives you the parameters in the documentation. It's a really good tool. And to make a library, you don't actually put it inside the source folder. You make a separate folder called lib, and here you make all of the separate components you have. And inside here, to make these stories, to make the documentation, you make a stories file for the component, and then you just export each of these as a variable, as a constant variable, as a story, and then you put it all inside the main.ts file in the end. That's how Storybook knows how to index and route your different components and to put them all inside that the application. So we have a pre-published command that just does the npm run build, and then we have the Storybook command. So again, all you need to do to publish a package is to run npm publish, to have an npm account, and to publish it that way. So now taking a look at the implementation of it. All you have to do is import it like you would any other library. So here I'm just importing the button, speech button, speech bubble, and then the skeleton, and then you import them into a normal React application. So here, just like anything else, just like other applications, we're just having all of our projects just imported, and then now we're just adding it into the application. We add the skeleton, we can add the button, and then here you could add the different props. So we have the mandatory text prop that you could just add that in. Hello world, hello there. And then now we're just gonna add the speech bubble. So again, it's a library that it was definitely my first time making a project like this, which is really interesting. It was really cool to see behind the scenes of how something like this works. So all weebs, rejoice. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I hope it was really fun and educational, and to show behind the scenes of how something like this can be made.